This is Ag Matters PM from the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network, brought to you by the Iowa Soybean Association, your daily recap of the information that affects Iowa's farmers, producers, and consumers, right here in the heart of the heartland. With reports from our award-winning broadcast team of Dustin Hoffman, Riley Smith, and Mark Magnuson. Now, from the IARN studios in Des Moines, here's Riley Smith.
Good day and welcome to Ag Matters PM from the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network. I'm Riley Smith. Today is Thursday, August 1st of 2024. We're finally in the month of the Iowa State Fair. We're excited to see everybody there at the booth outside of the cattle barn. In today's episode of Ag Matters PM, I have the latest Iowa Ag News headlines, including an update from Iowa Ag Secretary Mike Naig on Choose Iowa's program. But before we get into any of that, let's take a look at the closing markets.
It's time now for the Ag Matters PM Closing Market Summary, your source for market analysis and settlement prices from the day's trade in Chicago, courtesy of the folks at agmarket.net.
At the end of another trading day in the ag marketplace, we're here with Kayden Sweeney of agmarket.net. Kayden, thanks for joining us today. And what do we see going on in the grain markets?
Yeah, to be quite honest, a little bit quieter of a day, I guess, overall than I maybe expected, especially after we finally broke $4 on these corn yesterday. I kind of had a feeling that once that broke, we'd maybe accelerate downward and, hit some sell stops and really get going. We were down early in the session and really down most of the day, but these corn did manage to fight back to basically an even day, going to close, either side of unchanged. Beans were going to close down about 6 or 7 here. So, continuing to bleed there, but I kind of thought today would be more of an aggressive day down than it turned out to be.
And recently here in the Midwest, at least, we've seen a lot of storms come through. And even though last night's storms didn't turn out to be as widespread intense as we thought, there's a lot of that could be factored into the marketplace, but it does seem like they're kind of waiting a little bit. So do we anticipate that maybe soon we could see that factor in, or is this a case of a lot of the weather premium is kind of already factored into the marketplace?
Yeah, I think overall, at least from the market's perspective, they're pretty happy with the way the crop looks and, the way it feels right now, I guess is how I would say. Certainly could see a surprise, I suppose, in this month's WASDE report. This is usually the first one where you kind of get a look at maybe what the USDA is thinking as far as real numbers. You can get a bit of an acres adjustment here. You'll finally kind of get a number on yield, although I think it's going to be pretty hard to make much of a case that yield should go down at this point, just the way most of the Midwest growing season has gone, by large from a 10,000-foot view. But again, this month's WASDE report is kind of the first quote unquote real one of new crop, and we'll see what goes on. But like I said, I think at this point it's going to be pretty hard to argue for anything under trend line right now.
And then, of course, we're also getting towards the end of the marketing year for export sales specifically. And a lot of the export sales reports recently have just been very ho-hum when it comes to sales, maybe decent on the corn side of things. And soybeans just haven't been great this year. Now, as we get towards the end of the crop year, there's not really much more to do to change that situation. So, like you said, probably not too many changes in this WASDE report, right?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, like you said, we had export sales today, and again, it was okay. Not as bad as we have seen this, this marketing year, but at the same time, kind of like you're hinting at, it's on old crop, but just kind of a little bit too little, too late. It's just not. The market knows what it's got for old crop, or at least very close. And so all eyes shifted to new crop, and new crop sales have just been so poor. Historically speaking, we're over 60% below the 5-year average. And I don't remember one of the worst years out of the last 15 or 20 as far as new crop sales on the books right now for beans, at this point in time for new crop. And we just haven't seen much business out of China, which we certainly need to. And, they say low prices cure low prices. So, if we continue on this path, hopefully we get some export business showing back up. But, at least at this point, looking into new crop, it's certainly, a large part of the reason that we're so have sold off so much.
And then on the other side of the marketplace, in the livestock complex, what do we see going on in the cattle and hogs today?
Yeah, I wish I had some good news to bring there, as dreary as grains are, but the feeder cattle had a huge breakdown today. August is down over $4, and October down 5. Just been in a pretty tight range there the last couple months, and finally broke out of it today aggressively to the downside. So Not a lot of news there, at least that I'm aware of. Just kind of seemed like, you finally got out of that range and then it just accelerated downward and continued to go that way. So feeder cattle definitely leading us lower today. Fat cattle down as well. Hogs did close up about $1 or so, but it's going to be pretty hard to get over that feeder cattle headline.
All right, Kayden, lots of great information today. If our listeners and viewers would like to get in touch with the folks at agmarket.net for more marketing information, how can they do that?
Yeah, just go to our website, agmarket.net. You can take a free spin of everything we offer, including our app and all of our research and so forth. So pretty cool resource. And again, get it free for 30 days. So agmarket.net and get you everything you need.
All right, Kayden, thanks again for taking the time to visit with us today, and we look forward to getting more market analysis from you soon.
Yeah, sounds good, Riley. Appreciate it.
That again was Kayden Sweeney of agmarket.net. We'll take a look at how the numbers close through the market window at iowaagnet.com. September corn down 0.75 cents at $3.82 even. August soybeans down 6.5 at $10.22 even. August soybean meal up $1.80 at $355.90. August soybean oil down 43 cents at $42.87. Chicago wheat up 4 3/4 at $5.32 even. Kansas City hard red wheat up 5.5 at $5.54.5. Minneapolis spring wheat up 7 even at $5.88.5. September oats down 3 3/4 at $3.22.5. On the Merc, August live cattle down 2.32 at $184.80. August feeders down 4.10 at $253.15. August lean hogs up 87 cents at $93.15. Pork cutout went unchanged at $103 even. And August Class 3 milk down 11 cents at $20.42. And that's been a check of the markets here on Ag Matters PM. We're going to go ahead and take a quick break to hear from our sponsor, the Iowa Soybean Association and the Soy Checkoff. When we come back, I have the latest Iowa Ag News headlines. This is Ag Matters PM.
Iowa Soybean Association is driven to deliver for Iowa's 40,000 soybean farmers. We're proud to provide objective agronomic research, a helping hand with soil and water stewardship, and timely industry news powered by the Soybean Checkoff. Learn more at iasoybeans.com.
Welcome back to Ag Matters PM on the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network. I'm Riley Smith. Time now to take a look at the latest Iowa Ag News headlines. Iowa Secretary of Agriculture Mike Nag announced today the launch of the Choose Iowa Food Purchasing Program Food Bank Pilot. The pilot program, which was authorized during the 2024 legislative session and is an initiative of the state's Choose Iowa program, aims to connect Iowa food banks with Choose Iowa members to help alleviate food insecurity within our communities. The announcement was made during the annual Iowa Hunger Summit organized by the World Food Prize Foundation and held at the World Food Prize Hall of Laureates in Des Moines. $225,000 is being allocated to assist Iowa food banks in providing nutritious food to those in our communities who are food insecure. State investment will be leveraged by participating food banks who will match the state investments on a 1-to-1 basis. Eligible purchases will include dairy products, meat and poultry, eggs, honey, and produce. 6 Iowa food banks and Des Moines Area Religious Council will purchase products from farmers and ag businesses that are Choose Iowa members. The 6 food banks include Food Bank of Iowa, HACAP, Riverbend Food Bank, Northeast Iowa Food Bank, Food Bank of Siouxland, and Food Bank for the Heartland. The reimbursement deadline is June 30th of 2025. Food must be purchased from approved Choose Iowa members. A current list of members can be found on the Choose Iowa website. If farmers wish to have food purchased from food banks, they should apply to become a Choose Iowa member as soon as possible. Members enjoy a variety of benefits beyond being eligible to participate in this pilot program. For farmers or businesses that need help enrolling in Choose Iowa, or for those that have specific questions about the pilot program, contact Choose Iowa at iowaagriculture.gov. In other news, at the urging of the National Pork Producers Council, a newly published U.S. Department of Agriculture study found 0 trichinella positives in more than 3.2 million pork samples, demonstrating to domestic and global consumers the safety of U.S. pork. U.S. pork producers participate in the robust Pork Quality Assurance Plus certification program, or PQA Plus, for continuous improvement, including biosecurity practices to prevent on-farm exposure to wildlife and rodents, the main sources of trichinella in pigs. Trading partners have long restricted access for U.S. pork because of trichinella concerns, as the U.S. did not have surveillance data to prove there was a negligible risk for trichinella in the domestic swine herd. As a result of NPPC's persistent over the past decade, this USDA study validates the safety of U.S. pork. The study was conducted by USDA ARS and the Department's Animal and Plant Health Inspection Service. And finally, Iowans affected by recent tornadoes, storms, and flooding should stay in touch with FEMA to ensure their disaster assistance process stays on track. FEMA funding is available to homeowners and renters in Adair, Adams, Buena Vista, Cedar, Cherokee, Clark, Clay, Dickinson, Emmett, Harrison, Humboldt, Jasper, Lyon, Mills, Montgomery, O'Brien, Osceola, Palo Alto, Plymouth, Polk, Pottawatomie, Ringgold, Shelby, Sioux, Story, Union, and Woodbury counties. You can call the FEMA helpline at 800-621-3362 and check on the status of your application. Your application could be missing information that may prevent it from being completed. You should also update any new contact information as soon as possible, as FEMA may need to reach you to update your application or get additional information. You may update contact information by visiting disasterassistance.gov, calling FEMA directly at 800-621-3362, using the FEMA app, or visiting a disaster recovery center. Go to fema.gov/DRC to find a DRC near you. And that's all the time we have for Iowa Ag News headlines today. Thanks again for tuning in. You can find all of our content on our website at iowaagnet.com. Also follow us on social media at Facebook, X, LinkedIn, and TikTok, and find our video content as well as previous episodes of AM/PM on our YouTube channel. Don't forget as well to check out our morning, midday, and closing market podcasts, as well as Pods of Potential and the Iowa Ag Matters podcast. You can find those on your favorite podcasting service at Apple, Amazon, Google, Spotify, and Podbean. From the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network studios in Des Moines, I'm Riley Smith. On behalf of the IARN broadcasting crew, we thank you for watching. This has been Ag Matters PM.